won? How do you think they won 2020 election? You hear a lot of different things. I mean, you're in it when they're talking. Like I'm in Brazil last week, and there's this famous video of one of the judges walking past Alexandre de Moraes and says, hey, job promised, job done, something like that. And he taps him in the shoulder, okay? And Alexandre goes like this, like, good job. This is it. If you can fast forward to like 10 seconds, right there. You see right there. He's speaking. Guy walks up, one of the judges. Boom. Mission assigned, mission accomplished, okay? What happened with 2020 from you being on the inside that they brought? Because Lula was like, Obama called Lula the greatest politician in the world, and this judge goes and gets Lula out of prison to come and run against Bolsonaro because they had nobody that they thought could beat Bolsonaro. What really happened in 2020 when Biden won?
I will say that I'm not an election conspiracist, but I do think that election was rigged in some ways. For example, we should have learned more about Hunter Biden's laptop. The fact that the mainstream media completely buried it was a tremendous disservice to the American people. Not only that, you had revered members of the intelligence community like Anthony Blinken and Jake Sullivan, who became National Security Advisor. They came out and said it was Russian disinformation. Now we know that, guess what? It wasn't Russian disinformation. It was actual laptop. It was his laptop. And those photos were real. Those texts were real. Everything was real. And the fact that they hid it from the American people was a travesty. And I think it would have had an enormous impact on how people voted. Because who was the big guy? Joe Biden. Right? That information was withheld from voters. And also he benefited from the basement campaign. And they were hoping to run a Rose Garden campaign in 2024, which would have been similar, like very passive, and leaving the travel to surrogates.
But nothing else. Like, was there anything, were you ever in rooms where conversation was said?
I have to be honest, no one was like trying to cheat. Yeah.
There wasn't anything where you heard about the balance drop, this, that,
I mean,
you know.
It's a usual Philadelphia corruption. It happens every time, though. Like the street money. Have you heard about that notion? Okay. Oh, my God. So, Pat, before I say this, someone very high up in the Democratic Party threatened to sue me after my Sean Ryan show. I could ruin his career just by naming him, but I'm going to do him a good deed today and not name him. But he knows, if he listens, he knows exactly who it is.
Is he somebody we know?
You would know that this role exists, and it's very prominent. And I can tell you off air who it is. I will tell you afterwards. He sends me a text. I actually gave it to Benny Johnson. He sends me a text saying, "Who's your lawyer? I want to give you the respect of sending it to the right person." And so I call him. I know him. I was like, "What are you suing me for?" And I was like, defamation has to be, I have to be saying something false. I was like, so tell me, what am I saying that's false? And so we dissected everything I said. I was like, and he agreed with me that everything I said was true, but he just didn't want it packaged it together for the American people in a digestible fashion. So I'm mentioning this now because he's probably going to send me another threat. Because here I am talking about the street money. He doesn't like me talking about the street money, which is very corrupt. Philadelphia has a habit of giving ward leaders money. They just hand out money on election day.
To who? To voters?
To ward leaders.
To ward leaders?
Yeah.
And in doing so, what do you get in return?
It's supposed to turn out the vote. I'm trying. It's like it's the underbelly of Philadelphia politics. I'm not sure if Chicago does this too, but it's a long story tradition in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. So the practice involves leaders.
Is there a Wikipedia page for this?
Yeah, there's a political small amounts of money to individuals, often in lower income individuals, to incentivize them to vote. The use of street money has been long-standing tradition in Philadelphia's political landscape. However, its prevalence declined over the years. So
it's still going on.
You're saying it's still going on.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know that?
Because we just talked about it days ago when he threatened to sue me. He didn't want me mentioning it on a national podcast.
I'd never heard of it before. So the money given out to world leaders and
this is
party
something that
foot
they don't
soldiers,
want people to know.
ranging from 10, 20, 50, as high as $400 just for them to go vote. Ward bosses in cities, poor neighborhoods often use the money to offset the cost of gasoline and food for their volunteers.
But Pat, do you understand how easy it is to embezzle this money? Like, there's no accountability. No, you can just give it to party leaders and they can essentially do whatever they want. And Philadelphia is the birthplace of people like Johnny Doc. Have you heard of him? The labor leader who was imprisoned for corruption, embezzling funds. It's a very Philadelphian tradition. Members of our city council are often in prison. Johnny Doc, there you go.
Can you pull up his picture, Rob? I think I know the story.
This guy was extremely close with Hillary Clinton.
This guy was?
Yes. And part of the reason why, if you ever wonder why the DNC was held in Philadelphia in 2016, the two-word answer is Johnny Doc.
He gets 6 years in prison for what? Bribery and theft? Former Philly labor leader. Can you go to his Wikipedia, Rob, just to see what the story is about this guy?
Right there.
2019 was indicted. 98 investigation that charged him with missing union funds for personal benefits and corrupting a public. Doherty pleaded not guilty. City Council, November 20th, the federal judge overseeing the case ruled that the indictment would be split into separate trials. Can you click Control F Clinton? Control F Clinton. See if there's anything that comes in a profile.
It
Nothing.
doesn't.
But it's definitely true.
Is it known?
Within,
And what do you
Democratic
think he did
circles.
for Clinton? Like, what's the relationship
Get out the
there?
vote. He headed the most powerful union in the Mid-Atlantic region called Local 98. They're extremely close. And I assume that he was expecting her to protect him from prosecution.
Have you had any interaction with Hillary Clinton?
Yes.
Anything? Like you've met her face to face?
Yes, and I know her. I know Marjorie Margolis, who is the mother of the man that Chelsea Clinton married. So I'm actually very close with Marjorie. Well, I used to be. Her husband was arrested. I mean, these people. It's like one after another.
Marjorie's husband was arrested?
Yes.
What did he do?
She is a former congresswoman, and he engaged in corrupt acts. His name is. Did you find him? I can't see that far.
Marjorie Margolis.
Yes.
Mezvinsky.
Yes, that's the guy who was arrested.
What's the husband's name, Rob? Can you go to there's his husband, spouse,
Mark.
Edward.
That's his son. That's
What's
her
his
son.
It's Edward.
Yeah.
See where it says Edward?
sorry.
There you go. It's all good. So, Representative and a felon, a Democrat who represented Iowa's 1st Congressional District. Graduated, but why was he a felon? In 2010, he became a father-in-law to Chelsea Clinton, the daughter of Hillary and Bill Clinton. Jewish immigrant, Russian Empire. Go a little bit lower to see what the felony charges were about. Criminal was indicted and later pleaded guilty 31 out of 69 felony charges of bank fraud, mail fraud, and wire fraud. Mezvinsky had been working with an attorney at the time, funneling, embezzle, and fraudulent obtained money to West African conmen after falling victim to an online advance fee scam in the waning days of the Clinton presidency before the indictment was handed down. Mezvinsky's wife wrote personally to Clinton requesting a pardon for her husband. Clinton declined. Nearly $10 million was involved in the crimes. Shortly after indictment, he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, but the judge has disallowed a mental illness defense. So it's kind of like that movie with, what's his name? Edward Norton, Primal Fear.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have two personalities.
Hey guys, I'm so excited to be on Manect. I will answer any questions no matter what it is, whether it be politics, sex, your love life, family issues, whatever it is, I'm here for you. I want to be your friend. I want to talk with you and understand you. So please reach out. I can't wait to hear from you. Thanks so much, guys.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.